Okay, you go a little bit here higher because we're about to start. Welcome everybody to this set of interviews, podcasts, and multi-purpose content that we are generating here at Eurostar 2025. Today I have another special guest, an amiga, muy buena amiga, that if you're tuning, Almudena, thank you. Another amiga in common introduced us and said like, yeah, you should interview Paula. So because of her, we have here with us our amiga Paula Bassagañas.
Bassagañas, yes.
Yeah, I rocked it. Even for Spanish speakers,
Yeah,
it was a little bit challenging.
Yes, it's a strange surname, indeed.
Welcome, Paula. How are you?
Good. Super excited to get to know you better because Almu always speaks about you, so it's like
That
I already
Almudena.
know you, but
I hope mostly good things.
yes.
Sometimes,
Usually,
no,
yes,
she always,
in general.
she's really cool. Paula, welcome and thank you very much for coming, and thank you, Almudena, for the introduction. And to start off this interview, would you mind sharing with the people that do not know you, do not know what you do? Who are you? What do you do? What makes you special? Why are you here?
Okay. So I am IT architect of a testing platform team at Boehringer Ingelheim. My bachelor degree was biomedical engineering, so that's
cool.
why I normally have been working with pharma companies and so on. And I would say that I don't know what makes me special, but some of my hobbies maybe makes me a bit of a special. I am super freak of mountaineering and skiing and even writing and reading a bit. So I have a bunch of very different hobbies we can discuss at any time.
Oh, wow. Mountaineering?
Yes.
What was the second one?
Skiing.
Skiing.
Yes.
Ooh, you gotta explain me a little bit. I know I lack a muscle that I cannot put the brakes, and I just keep going. But
Well, if you make it down the hill, that's the important part.
not as fast as I tend to get, and then it gets dangerous. But that's amazing, Paula. I mean, when you said I have nothing special, wait, you are a biochemical engineer?
Yeah, biomedical.
Biomedical,
Yes.
and you're a tester.
Yes.
That's a special. That definitely is big and outstanding.
Yeah.
How did this happen? How did you end up like from biomedical engineering on the QA realm?
That's kind of funny story, I would say. It was the summer of my second year of career, and I was with a friend looking for a job to get to London to work there, and we wanted to go abroad and, I don't know, find something where we can work abroad. And I had no money back then. And so I started applying to many places, from working to McDonald's or Panini or whatever place was fine. But I ended up applying also to Roche Diagnostics, another big pharma company. And the next day they called me to do an interview, and I passed the interviews and I joined Roche as a trainee on my second to third year of the degree, and I started there doing some manual testing and so on. I learned a lot there. I have really good memories and really good friends from there. And
so cool.
From there I started switching my career a bit, so all my optional credits, I got them from the software development degree. So I started studying more like databases, object-oriented programming, and so on and so forth. And I ended up being a biomedical engineer, but with a specialization, let's say, in software development.
Wow, that's a very interesting jump. Give me just a second. I just noticed you have the mic a bit too high.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want it hitting your face. How was for you this jump? Because software development as well. What do you think? How was your experience on those days?
Well, I think there has been two major points where I started doing development. First point was at Roche, switching from manual to test automation. I had a lot of colleagues who helped me there to do that jump. I think that's super important, the community you build around us. I was having an attendee now coming to me and telling me, like, how did you make it, like, across your career path? I was telling, surround you by the best people around you in your companies. I think that's the the way forward. And when I switched from Roche to SCRM, the Lidl Plus company, the ones that you may have
Hello,
on your
Almudena.
mobile. Hello, Almudena. Yes. There I had also a couple of mentors that saw some potential on me and told me like, oh, by the way, would you mind not doing only test automation but also backend development? And there I learned also a lot. It was a huge hub of people who are great professionals and where you can really learn a lot. There is an application having lots of customers. You really understand why you need performance there. Yeah.
Please. Super important, if you ask me.
And from that point onwards, it was like all already into the technical path, not anymore like on the technical software development path, let's say, not only on the biomedical business, let's say. Yeah.
This is quite impressive to me because you not only did a jump from my biomedical, but to the QA realm and at the same time to the development realm, and then performance and all the other elements that I'm sure if you were around the CRM, you got exposure to lots of things.
Yes.
And that makes you really special. When you were like wondering, I don't know why. No, I can tell you, that really gives you lots of advantage because many people in the QA environment are not as skilled in development, and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
You have three.
Yeah.
It's like remember the Pokemons that have only one, the water skill, the fire.
Yeah.
You have multiple skills,
Yeah.
and that's really cool.
I think my main always motivation is learning a lot of things, and I am a person who is more much like on the horizontal learning path than in the deep dive one single thing into the depths and details. And that's good for some parts, not so good for others. That gives you some strengths and some weaknesses, but I also love like the DevOps world and the architecture world and this kind of things. It's kind of amazing to know how everything works, and that's also biomedical engineering. It's about that. It's about knowing biomedical, but also the engineering part, and these kind of mixers are the things that I find super interesting.
You're bringing my curiosity because something cool, I can tell by hearing you talk, you're a curious person. You like to keep, you already said, keep learning, expanding your horizons. And I feel as well that I am also a little bit uneasy, jumping all over the place. Biomedical is something really cool that when you mentioned, I'm like, I know very little about that field, and I should ask Paula to give me some information where I can get better trained. But so, biomedical engineer, tester, developer, and you're here at a conference.
Yes.
You're also a speaker, or I think we saw each other in Automation Star, right?
Exactly.
So you're also a conference speaker. Can you share a little bit about your experience in conferences?
Yes, so this is my second conference where I do a tutorial.
Cool.
The first one was at Automation Stars. I was giving a tutorial on how to test data platforms. We had huge struggle at my company on deciding how we would test ETLs and how we would make sure the whole process of ingesting data would work.
ETLs.
Yeah, it's a huge topic. And then this time I have presented Testus Patronus. We are in Edinburgh. So, I mean, it's the place where Harry Potter was written. I am a huge fan of the Harry Potter. It's my generation thingy. And I wonder, like, what would have my teenager version thought if I would have seen how the world would have evolved, and that we don't really need magic to build certain things. And it's amazing, right, to see, like, I don't know, automation drivers, cars, just like Harry Potter flying cars, or to see that you can convert images that are not moving into moving images, like in Harry Potter's newspapers, or things like that. And the whole thinking of that brought me to the point of deciding to bring this conference, where I just explain that we didn't need magic anymore, that we need racks. And I was giving a hands-on session where we had the full room full of people willing to know it about that. And I get to manage that. I would say 70% of people had their chatbot running on their local machines.
Wow.
And I'm super proud of them that they achieved it, and they were super proactive. It was amazing being there, actually, yeah.
Super proud of the teacher as well. I mean, you managed to. There are so many challenges in what you just described, and it's really cool that, on one hand, that almost everybody ended up being able to pull it off. I know it's not easy.
No, at all.
Half of the times I have been successful. So yes, wow, praise to you. And also on the creative side, that you are thinking, the funniest part when you were saying the Testus Patronus, or how was it?
Testus Patronus.
Testus Patronus. I also had the idea Performus Patronus, and I was like, yeah, this is.
It's the Edinburgh magic. It's our thing.
No, and it's something that this creativity, and I'm sure that you were also doing some analogies and some things in your talk. Would you mind getting a little bit into the, what was it?
Basically,
Trick with the talk?
Basically the whole thing is about, I would have loved to live in the magic world, but I couldn't. But still,
we're muggles,
we have somehow a bit of magic nowadays, like AI, and still like magic, like in Harry Potter happens many times, magic fails. And AI fails also in many ways. For example, it fails when it gives hallucinations. It fails to give updated context to you on a niche information, for example, about your products, because the LLMs wouldn't know the internal documentation you have. And it fails also normally to give you the sources of the information that it's providing. And basically we were doing that analogy, and then we were going back to the Muggles world and then explaining how all of it relates to testing. And that was it about. And after that session, we started the hands-on, of course.
I'm starting to feel sad that I missed it, because it sounds pretty awesome. You should be presenting it on other conferences and let me know so that I can see.
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can. I think we will be on the Automation Stars program.
Are you gonna present that as well? Yes.
So
oh
you
my
got the second
God. Okay, everybody watching. Automation Star is going to be in Amsterdam.
Yes.
Next
in
November.
November.
Also from the friends here that brought you Eurostar. And it's going to be you, me, and Almudena together. That's going to get crazy.
Exactly.
It's going to be a great adventure. Almudena, if you are tuning in, be ready. You made this happen, and it's going to get interesting. No, but how am I going to sneak into your talk and hear it again? Because the creativity, how do you explain both sides of the AI realm? I think it's pretty impressive. Thumbs up, super good. And what you mentioned a little bit, like you wanted here Edinburgh. It's the place, the kind of birthplace of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But what made you think of this being like a good fusion of topics?
I don't know. I think it's just the freaky part of me talking out loud sometimes. I'm a huge fan of this kind of sagas like Star Wars or Indiana Jones or Harry Potter or these kind of things. And I love reading fantasy and so on. And it's kind of the first things I thought of when I want to match things are this kind of big sagas that I know everyone is kind of moved by them. And I think that's a great part of our job when we are designing how a tutorial will be, to make everyone engaged and to make everyone feeling the topic or putting the topic on their own armies of, now I am a magician, or now I am, I don't know, an adventurer.
I'm a Jedi.
Yeah, a Jedi, whatever.
A Jedi tester.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that makes this kind of connection with the people who is there, and that's important, so that everyone feels the power to do the things. Because I had in my job also to do some kind of trainings and so on. And many times I feel that people, it's like, oh, but I cannot do that. Oh, I'm not technical enough. Oh, I don't have enough knowledge. And you need this kind of, no, you have it. I mean, I don't know, somehow you have to drive this narrative that they can do it. They feel they can.
You can, with this type of teaching techniques, because it's a technique, you bring down the wall and make it approachable to people
Yes.
that may say like, oh, I'm not technical. Don't worry, you don't have
Yes.
to. We're gonna play with magic wands, and that's what
Yes.
we're gonna be doing. And
Yeah.
it's really awesome, and it sounds like you get like a good effect from
Yeah.
trying this approach, right?
Yes, indeed. I had experience also in the university teaching a bit.
That
there-
explains a bit.
And my mom is also a teacher, and I want to thank
Okay.
my mom also publicly. Like thanks, mom, for doing that for me, because I think she was a great inspiration. When I was young, I was going every summer with her to prepare the classes and to tidy up everything. Like I was really living with her like this kind of, I don't know, passion for teaching. And when you have this passion, you need to find your way of communicating. Yeah.
So you had lots of good examples when you were growing up, and that sounds, and yes, we will make sure that your mom gets a link to this and that you said hello. And no, and it's great that she gave you this understanding of how people can
Yeah.
learn better, and the techniques. That is not just because I've been in places where the technique of teaching is like blah information, blah 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 blah, and that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And it,
ABC.
and it's not engaging. It's not like a story that you can get behind. Like, oh my God, and wizards with QA and stuff.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. Makes me curious. Kind of like I would like to be one of your students. Like, how is one of Paula's classes?
Indeed, with workshops that we do at the company, one of the things that I normally prepare is kind of escape room, where they have to learn by escaping a room. For instance, we were doing some Sherlock Holmes escape room.
Cool.
We had two groups of people in two different rooms, and they had a message broker in the middle, and they need to communicate and give clues from one room to the other through a message broker, and they needed to code and learn a bit how to code the event queues and how to communicate between them, and they had physical trials to do at each room and physical tests, but also the coding part on it, and I think that's what spikes curiosity.
It sounds almost slightly evil that you don't get out of here until you
Yeah,
understand what we are
exactly.
teaching. And
Yeah,
but I like it. And the Sherlock Holmes theme, like it was someone's known in the team because the defect did not bark.
Yeah.
Elementary.
Elementary.
Sounds really
exactly,
really
yes.
cool. And in the books he never said elementary, but that's for geeks of Sherlock Holmes. Paula, there's another big. Trendy topic happening here. You already
Yeah.
touched into it, all the AI craze. What are your thoughts and perspectives on what is happening right now? Oof, that explains it
I
all.
think that's the general. I think on one side it's exciting because everybody's kind of new to that, and everyone is kind of in the discovery phase. And I had a lot of questions on the tutorial like, oh, but did you really implement that on your company? Is it really happening to you? Because for me it's kind of new also. And then it's this, you cannot answer, I think in general, unless you are in a really high-tech company, you cannot answer, yes, this is working perfectly in my company. Yes, we did that, and it's kind of rocket science that it's working 100% of time. It's basically like everyone has some trials running in their company. Everyone is kind of trying to get something that it's robust. And here there are a lot of companies already providing really robust stuff already. But it's this kind of incipient thingy growing that it's super exciting to be inside about. And then I think that on the other side of the excitement, we also have a lot of people like either afraid of what's going to happen with our jobs, or afraid of security issues, or afraid of data leaks, or how we prevent the companies from, or how we prevent that our employees are putting company things on some ChatGPT that may use
stored
it
in
somehow.
China or somewhere else,
Like
and
what is happening with all this data we are putting there. And there is no like super clear answers to how we handle all of this. And now we have the MCPs and all these kinds of growing and evolving things. And I think what you realize in these kind of conferences is how little you know, the great things that other people is doing on their fields, and you learn a lot from other conferences. And and you realize that you are not so far away from other people, what other people is doing. And I would say one of the key things they were said twice in the keynotes from our stars were like, this is not going to replace humans. And I like it a lot when in the yesterday keynote, she said something like, there's always going to be more work because of LLMs. There's going to be much more things. The productivity is going to increase so much that we will going to have a lot of development super fast done. And all of these developments needs to be tested still. And it's kind of, it gives some hope to these people who is afraid of what's going to happen. Because it's not that we are going to stop our production at some point. It's just that we are going to keep on doing even more things, that it's even more testing that will be helped or assisted by AI, but won't be for sure replaced. For now, I think that's what I get from the talks we had today.
Everything that we are seeing around. I always draw the analogy that, in London and probably here in Edinburgh as well, in the past, there were no cars.
Yeah.
There were horses, and the horses produced a lot of stuff that ended up in the streets. Yeah. And you had some trades, the ones that will keep the horses fed, that they will clean the horses' products. And when we transitioned into cars, those jobs had to change.
Yeah.
You still can clean horse stuff, and you still can feed them in horse places, but now we have cars, and you have to learn how to change the wheel, fuel it, the oil, and all the jobs that appeared around the car. I think AI, as you say, is going to bring much more, not replace us, because we are not the horses. Probably those are gone away. The horse in this example is the tool. Yeah. We have a new, more powerful, with lots of more complex pieces tool that definitely is going to keep us more occupied.
Yeah.
Entertained.
Yeah, and I think there are still kind of challenges on biases or challenges on how to ensure fairness. I was at university giving some trainings on these kind of things, and I think that's super amazing to understand the difference of group fairness or individual fairness, and how all of this matches with the fact that all these models are trained with data that was already existing, and all this data was already biased because it was built in ages where some of the good practices or good, let's say, society advances were not there, and they were highly biased, this data that these models are trained with. And I think, for me, that's one of the things that worries the most. Not so much if we are going to be losing our jobs or something, but how fair the LLMs we are building are, and how to test it. I think it's quite difficult to do that, and I'm rather interested into that topic also.
No. Crazy things are coming. Definitely, it's going to be always these biases. We need to be careful at a human level, and also with the AI, because we are training these AIs with our mind situations, problems, and defects, and they are being inherited. So that's a really, really good point, that we need to be mindful, careful, and vigilant, because it's gonna bite us back there eventually. Paula, I'm looking at the time. This went a bit longer than I expected, but no, it's not your bad. It has been a great conversation, and if anyone wants to keep up with these conversations, attend your classes, or just connect with you and stay in touch, where can people find you?
They can find me in LinkedIn for sure, and they can find me in basagan.com. I have a domain now.
You're on the domain,
you
nice.
can contact me, and you can see the upcoming conferences I will be giving, and you can find whatever information there. So,
Excellent. So take a look. If you don't know how to write, I think here in the corner is her name. Look for her on LinkedIn. And Bassagañas.com, was it?
Basagan.com.
Basagan.
I could it because it's a strange surname.
Basagan. Stay tuned, and double S.
Yes.
That I noticed earlier. Paula, thank you so much for all these great insights. Do you have some last words that you would like to share with the audience before we call it a day?
I would say come to this kind of conferences, because just the networking, how much you learn, the amazing stands that are there, all the work it's done. It's amazing. So thank you for also your job doing
No,
here.
no.
Yeah. Like,
It's a big pleasure for me. Shut up. We have echo here. Sorry. Well, that's not over yet. Paula, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are moving on. Probably we'll have some food. We have more interviews today, so stay tuned, because Eurostar 2025 is not over yet, and we will have more adventures. Gracias, Paula.
Gracias.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Adios, everybody. See you in a
Ciao.
moment. Let's see if I can stop this from here. Not yet. Okay, now I found it. Adios. Bye-bye.